Hey there, restaurant pros. It's Dave Scott Peters, and welcome to episode 76 of the Restaurant Prosperity Formula. I've been coaching restaurant owners since 2003, and the Restaurant Prosperity Formula is based on what the most successful restaurant owners I've worked with do on a daily basis to achieve their success. The basic premise of the formula centers around achieving prosperity, freedom from your restaurant, a financial freedom you deserve. To achieve prosperity, you have to follow a very specific formula made up of leadership, systems, training, accountability, and taking action. Today, I want to talk about the importance of work-life balance. Let's get started. But first, a word from our sponsor. We all know managing costs is one of the most important parts of running a profitable restaurant, especially now. But between fluctuating vendor prices, waste, labor, and the never-ending list of tasks that demand your attention on a daily basis, it can be challenging for even the most experienced of us to manage costs well. That's where Margin Edge comes in. Margin Edge is a complete restaurant management software that automatically uses data from your POS and invoices to show you food and labor costs in real time. Don't wait until it's too late. Margin Edge gives you tools to make decisions in the moment, like a daily P&L, price alerts on key ingredients, and real-time plate costs, all without ever having to touch a spreadsheet. Take control of your costs, work more efficiently, and be more profitable. Go to www.marginedge.com/DSP to learn more and schedule your demo today. Today, I want to talk about a topic that hits close to home for most of us, especially independent restaurant owners: work-life balance. Yeah, you heard me right. Work-life balance. What is that? Well, in this demanding industry, it's easy to find yourself consumed by the day-to-day operations of your restaurant. I mean, it is really easy. Think about all the things that happen in your restaurant on a daily basis. On a daily basis, you've got tasks from opening the doors of the restaurant all the way to what? Putting cash drawers out. So let's kind of walk through it. You come in the morning, you unlock the door, you take the alarm off, and you start walking the circle, right? You unlock your freezer door, your refrigerator door, your stand-up refrigeration doors. You're making sure the hoods are on. You're making sure all the lights are on, the music, the TV stations, depending on the type of concept you have. You're walking around to see that last night's side work got done and identifying those areas that weren't done. You're going to the manager's office and you are, if you're reading a paper manager log, or you're going online and reading what happened last night to see what needs to be done, like calling the plumber. You're then setting up stations if you're a full service restaurant and saying, all right, who's got this station 1, 2, 3, 4? How many servers do I have coming on? How many cooks do I have come on? What time do I expect them in? To make sure I go to the POS system to see that they're not clocking in too early. Oh, then I'm making sure all the side work gets done so that we are prepared for the day, that prep lists have been done, that all, the oil's been changed, and like all these little things that happen just to get the restaurant open. Then there's running the darn place. And now it's like operating on the beach with tides. As lunch rush starts coming in, the tide starts coming in, you're a host and you're seating people, making sure everything happens in a full service restaurant. You are then a server taking drink orders because the servers are backed up. Maybe the bartenders are backed up and you're running those drinks. Then as things start to happen, you get behind the line. Well, no, you get in front of the line and you are now expo. Hey, make sure all the orders get done. Now you're a food runner. Next thing you know, you're a busser. Next thing you know, you're dropping tickets because the server's backed up. Next thing you know, you're back at the front as the tide starts to recede, welcoming people, thanking them for coming in and welcoming them back. All these things to make sure that your service is wonderful and you're creating memories for your guests, that you're executing Restaurant 101 right. Even in a quick serve atmosphere, we still have all those things to do. The only difference is we're not running the jobs from the front of house. We might be on a cash register, on the phones. If we're taking to-go orders, we may be in the expo window. We might even be on the line because we're ensuring that we do Restaurant 101 right. Hot food hot, cold food cold, clean, safe work environment for your guests and employees, wow customer service, incredible product, creating memories for people, providing great hospitality. That's a lot of work. And then there's all the big things, the things that I want to teach you, making sure we're hiring properly and onboarding people properly and writing schedules properly and taking inventories and placing orders, doing recipe costing cards, calculating dollars per labor hour worked, and the list goes on. And I don't know about you, just talking about all the things that you have to do Well, it makes me feel like an elephant sitting on my chest. It takes me back to the days of me being on the floor. It's critical to remember that there's a world outside your restaurant, and that world matters for your well-being. Now, I know in the past, on whether it's Shoot the Shit with DSP or it is a past episode of the Restaurant Prosperity Formula, my podcast, I've talked about the importance of quality of life in the past. In those past episodes, I've relayed stories, even about how on a group coaching call, one of my members, Deja Wakefield, dropped a knowledge bomb on the group when she reminded everyone that you don't get a second chance for any of those missed events in your personal life. Think about it. How many life events have you missed because you had to be in the restaurant? When I grew up as a kid, to give you an example, I'd have at least 2 Thanksgiving dinners. What? 2 Thanksgiving dinners? Yeah, I had one Thanksgiving dinner at a friend's house on Thanksgiving itself. And then I had a second Thanksgiving dinner on the first day that my mother, my stepfather, and my sister had off because they all worked Thanksgiving in the restaurant. Right? So I had it with my friends. And then in order to have a family meal, we had it on a completely different day. So I know what it is to be pressured to be in the business and let the business take over your life. So think about this. How many graduations, birthdays, anniversaries, kids' sporting events, date nights, movie nights have you missed because you had to be in the restaurant? Let that sink in. Do you know what that short list represents? Irreplaceable moments in your life. Like when it's your grandmother's 80th birthday and you miss it, you don't get to do that again. So let's get to the harsh truth about this. Life doesn't give you second chances on missed moments. These moments are priceless and fleeting. In the restaurant business, the risk of missing out on is all too real. Yes, your restaurant needs your attention, but so does your personal life. We must always remind ourselves of the cost of missed moments because you don't get a second chance for these milestone moments in your life. The message should sound reasonable to you, or maybe it should resonate with you in the sense that, why? Well, if you've been listening to my past episodes of my podcast or been on my YouTube channel or been following me on Facebook or YouTube, again, on Shoot the Shit with David Scott Peters every Friday morning at 8 a.m. Pacific time, travel schedule permitting, you've heard these messages. I am a broken record on certain things, and you having a life is a part of the Restaurant Prosperity Formula. Remember Restaurant Prosperity, freedom for your restaurant, the financial freedom you deserve? Well, that freedom for your restaurant is my priority. Because if we can get you freedom for your restaurant, you have a personal life. You have managers in place. You have systems in place. You are making the money you deserve. So now it's time for you to make you a priority and focus on that work-life balance. What I don't talk enough about is, well, how you create the time for your personal happiness. And that's kind of what I want to do now. Personal happiness shouldn't be a luxury. It's a necessity. We all deserve moments of joy and relaxation. But in the rush of railed tickets, product management, and providing great hospitality experience for your guests, you might ask, where's the time for happiness? Well, my friends, the trick is not to find, but to create that time. And there are 3 things that you have to have in your life, in your restaurant life, to make this happen, to make it your reality. Number 1, you must have an implementer. Does this sound familiar? Remember, the implementer is somebody who gets shit done. Excuse my French. You as an entrepreneur are not going to put in the systems in place that I want to teach you. You've got too many shiny objects to chase. You want to create that next new menu. You want to chase the marketing scheme down. You want to develop another location. You want to just really see your baby grow up and give guests the best experience possible. So you chase all those things. But when it comes to checking numbers on a daily basis or ensuring systems are done or implemented for that matter, it's not your strength. By the way, it's not you individually. It's any entrepreneur. And so I always preach you've got to have an implementer, somebody who gets shit done. This is somebody who buys into you, your company, fits your core values and your business. They want to do more. They want to learn. They want to be more than just walking the circle on a day-to-day basis. They are linear. They can start and finish projects. They can train others, and more importantly, with your help, hold other people accountable to those systems you put in place. So in order to have a life outside your restaurant, you need a right-hand person, who I call an implementer, someone who gets shit done. Number two, you must have systems in place. There's a system, a process, a way to doing anything and everything in your business. How long have you been following me? Right? From placing orders on budget, giving up your check, or giving up the ordering without giving up your checkbook, having those controls in place, simple systems from manager logs to counting out a bar drawer the same way back to $300 to dollars per labor hour worked. Like, there's prep systems and scheduling systems, and you get the picture. There's a system, a process, a way for doing anything and everything in your business, and it's your way. Well, without these systems, what are you teaching people? How do you ensure you impose your will without being there, just like the chain restaurants? Right? How is it that Yum Brands has thousands of Taco Bells and other concepts all around the world? Is it because they have an owner in each one? No, because they have their system, their process, their way, and they have managers running those systems. That allows them to impose their will without being there. We as independents have to do the same thing. We need to pull up a page out of the chain restaurant playbook without losing our independence. We love our guests. We love our employees. But we are going to do what they do well, and that's make money. That's to ensure the guest gets the same experience no matter any time they walk in our door. And finally, number three, and possibly the most important one, you must schedule time just like you schedule any appointments that you would have on your calendar. That means you block off time for you. Whether it's date night every Thursday night with your significant other, it's on the calendar. Whether it's go to the gym, it's on the calendar. You've got to create the boundaries. See, as an entrepreneur, I go through the same things. That's why, for me, I've been doing this since 2003. Right? 20 years. In the beginning, I worked my ass off, like morning, noon, and night. And I'd be on coaching calls at 6 a.m. my time because it was 9 a.m. Eastern time. I'd be on calls until wee hours of the morning. I would burn the candle at both ends. When my old company, when I created software, I'd be up at night till 3, 4 o'clock in the morning with the programmers and back on the phones at 6 a.m. And I did this over and over and over again. Well, guess what? Today, you cannot get on my calendar before 9 a.m. Pacific time. Depending on the time of the year, I'm in Arizona. Sometimes we're mountain time. We don't change our clocks, but let's call it Pacific time to make it easy. That's when I'm recording it right now. Because why? I'm on Tempe Town Lake with my rowing club, Rio Salado Rowing Club, 6 days a week at 5 a.m. I wake up at 3:45 in the morning. I get out of the house by 4 o'clock. I'm down there. I'm on the water because I've made something else a priority for me. I book time with my family. I schedule races. I make time because the old me had nothing but work. You've got to do the same thing. One of my member mentors, Ryan James, well, he makes sure he schedules every morning the ability to surf. He's in Maryland. And that brings him joy every single day. Not that the restaurant doesn't, but he's a better leader when he has the opportunity to surf. He also does jujitsu. Another, Steve Eller, in the winter, he volunteers to work on ski patrol at the local mountain. And in the nicer weather, he gets out and rides on his bike. A longtime member, Brian Mueller, practices and enters bowling tournaments all throughout the year because that brings him joy. It gives him time outside the restaurant, gives him an interest, something that makes him happy. Oh, and remember Deja? Well, she got back into pickleball. Now, I have a long list of other members who've successfully changed their lives for the better and are scheduling personal time each and every day. And not every one of those activities requires physical activity like the examples I just shared with you. For many, just making sure they never miss an event like Avery Ward, who makes all, and I mean all, of his niece's games. He wants to be a supportive relative. Remember, a happier you can run a happier business. They go hand in hand. Lastly, you need something else in your life you identify with other than your restaurant. I want you to think about this. Who are you beyond your restaurant? It's easy to let our work identities overshadow everything else. By tying your entire identity to your business can be a recipe for stress and burnout. You're more than your restaurant, and it's essential to cultivate that more. They could be hobbies, interests, relationships. These are all critical ingredients of a healthier personal life. You might be an owner, you might be a chef owner, but you also might be a parent, a friend, a community member. And these roles, they're just as important. I know. I see this every day. Heck, I personally identify with this. On the personal level, you may have heard me told the story before, but when my old business partner bought me out of my old company, I fell into a dark hole. I was not a happy person. Who was I? I was the restaurant expert. My old company was the restaurantexpert.com. I was the restaurant expert at that time for 16 years. I lived, breathed, and was that person. Other than making time for my kids' events, I had nothing else. And when that was gone, and I was in the process of starting over with this restaurant coaching business, I wasn't my best self. I truly wasn't. Lucky for me, I made my way back to rowing. Remember when I said I'm on the lake every morning? Well, I had taken a 30-year hiatus, 30-something year hiatus, and found my way back to the sport that got me into a Division I school as a rower, scholarship athlete, and brought me lots of joy. It's not only changed my fitness, I've been back rowing for a year and a half now, almost 2. It's not only changed my fitness, and this is important from a heart attack survivor, but it's changed my life. I'm not just a restaurant coach, not just a family man. I'm a rower and a happy guy. I have other identities that if one were to go away, I'm still going to be happy. For many of my members, I have a front row seat to see them change their lives. And one of the most common things I hear from any member that's going through the program is this one little question. So now that I have my managers doing the things that I used to do, what do I do? What do I do now? Because there's this loss in the sense that I knew what I did every day. The restaurant relied on me. It had to have me. Well, when you learn that it doesn't have to have you, count the money, doesn't have to have you place an order, doesn't have to have you do all the little things, the tasks of the business, what do you fill your time with? Well, and this is when I guide them in 2 directions. There's the business and the personal direction. The business direction is to start working strategically on your business, budgets, marketing, lead the team, developing your managers, ultimately holding them all accountable. That should sound familiar to you. In the personal direction, I talk about blocking off time for date nights, finding their way back to an old passion activity, working from home to create boundaries and more. The reality is, while we all want this, the process is uncomfortable. You need to embrace the discomfort because the new you is much happier. And that translates to every relationship you have in and outside of your business. So in summary, your restaurant is a significant part of your life, but it's not the only part. You have personal milestones to cherish, happiness to seek, and an identity that goes beyond your business. Keep this balance, right? Keeping this balance is not just good for your personality, or should I say personally, but it's also crucial for your professional success. Remember, a balanced life is a prosperous life. If today's topic resonated with you, And I hope it does because it resonates with me. And if you feel you need help in achieving this balance, I invite you to set up a discovery call with us. We're here to support you in this journey, help you to find not just prosperity, but true freedom from the relentless grind. To do so, do me a favor. Email Ryan James. Remember I talked about him? Well, he's got enough time not only to run his restaurant, but to work with me, helping restaurant owners just like you. Hop on a quick 15-minute call with him so we can learn more about you and your business. We can tell you what we do and see if there's a possible fit. You can email him at ryan@davidscottpeters.com and to set up this 15-minute call. Again, learn more about you, learn more about what we have, see if it's a possible fit. If after that 15-minute call, you and Ryan think there is a potential fit, he'll get you on my calendar right away. Let's work together to make your restaurant a source of joy, not just stress. Thanks for listening. And remember, there's always a way to achieve restaurant prosperity, which is freedom of your restaurant and a financial freedom you deserve. Hey, that was an awesome episode. I want to thank you for taking the time to take action on building a better, more prosperous restaurant. Before you go, I want to give you these 3 thoughts. 1, by combining leadership and taking action with systems and training being checked by accountability, you are on your way to creating prosperity for you and your restaurant. 2, I have something I need from you. Please leave a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you happen to listen to podcasts. By leaving us a review, other restaurant pros seeking out this information are able to find it. I read the reviews, and hearing how this information has benefited you does wonders for me. And 3, if you find any of the discussions helpful, share them. The more restaurant pros who have access to them, the better we become as an industry. For more restaurant resources or to get in contact with me, connect with me at davidscottpeters.com. Be passionate about what you're doing. Be persistent, but more importantly, become better and help everyone around you become better. And your restaurant is going to kick some ass. If you're tired of not being able to leave your restaurant because no one else knows how to run it, I want to make sure you know it doesn't have to be that way. You can leave your restaurant. It is possible to build a team of people who know how you want the restaurant to run. With these trained and responsible people in place, you can give yourself time away. What would you do if you had time away from your restaurant? Would you sleep better? Would your relationships improve? Would you feel more relaxed? These are all things you deserve to experience as a business owner. It's why we own our own businesses. If you would like to learn how to own a restaurant that doesn't depend on you to be successful, click the link in the description to watch a free training course that teaches you exactly what you have to do. Also, be sure to subscribe to get my weekly tips and watch these 2 videos to get more information and guidance for running a successful restaurant.